Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Wednesday morning. It's now the 19th day of March, 2025, and this is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. And as I look out the window, it's a mostly sunny morning. There are a couple of high clouds. We will see more clouds as we go through the day today. And by this evening, there will be some light rain. But if you have things you want to do during the day today, that's fine. And by the time we get to tomorrow, we'll be back to sunshine. It's also a pretty cool morning with valley temperatures down in the 30s, and the next few days will stay pretty cool with temperatures below average. The average high for the valley is 67, 68 degrees, and we're going to be below that with more cool mornings. After this weather system goes by, the cool air will be reinforced. But the one thing that I keep hearing, I overhear things in the grocery store, people chatting on the golf course, is next week it's going to be 80 or whatever. I'll show you that. I'll show you just how much we may warm up next week. But today's Wednesday, and we still have some cooler days ahead and this chance of rain as we go through the night tonight. I want to start this morning, however, with the big view of the satellite, the full disk, if you will. The disk is so full I can't even fit it into my window here. But the thing that I want to point out, that as we get close to the equinox, you can see that the daylight nighttime line here is almost vertical, which is why we'll call it the equinox, coming up in a day or so. So as you can see, during the winter time we have it kind of slanted more this way. In the summertime it's slanted more this way. During the winter it's slanted more that way. So now we are running it almost due north-south, and it's always kind of the interesting perspective you get as we get closer to the equinox as well as the solstice, and just seeing how these things change. And also, I also like this too. See this little spot right here that's moving across, this bright spot right here? The sun glint. So that's actually where the sun is. And you can see that it's basically right over the equator right now as we get close to the equinox, which I believe is tomorrow. I don't pay attention too much to the exact times that those things happen, but I believe that is tomorrow. All right, let's zoom in a little bit here. And yes, we do have clouds moving in. We do have mainly clear skies right now, but clouds will be increasing during the day today. This looks like a nice system on the satellite, but it's going to kind of fall apart as it comes our way. There is some modestly cool air behind it, so that'll just kind of keep temperatures in this cooler than average range as we go through the day today, tomorrow, as well as Friday. But eventually, by the time we get into the weekend, we are going to see some pretty nice warming. So let's just focus in first on this bit of rain that we're going to see later on tonight. And so for that, we're going to go to the HRRR, the high resolution model. I'm going to be able to time out the rain that we're going to be seeing as we go through the night tonight, the evening, I should say. All right, so this is this morning, this is this afternoon, and I'll stop it here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By then, we may start to see some rain in Lake County. We're certainly seeing rain on the coast from Mendocino County, maybe even northern Sonoma County, all the way up through Del Norte County. Some snow level here up around 4,500 feet. It'll be higher by the time we get to the west slope of the Sierra. But there will be some rain before the sun goes down in these areas. But from Butte County to the south and through the Sierra, and certainly Southern California, missing all of this at 4 o'clock this afternoon anyway. 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8. 8 o'clock, we have rain into Sacramento. We have rain in Roseville. We have rain in Grass Valley. The snow level on the west slope, at least in the I-80, Highway 50, Highway 88 corridor, is going to be around 5,000 feet. It'll be a little bit lower in Plumas County, maybe around 4,000 feet. By then, we also have some light rain into the Bay Area through Napa and Solano County. But a relatively light rain. I'll show you the totals here in a second, but we're expecting where we are going to see rain in the lower elevations, hundredths of an inch of rain. Now we're up to 11 o'clock tonight. We have rain on the west slope from, let's say, Jackson through Grass Valley, Placerville getting rain, Pollock Pines at 4,000 feet likely getting rain. Again, I think the snow level in that I-80, Highway 50, Highway 88 corridor will be around 5,000 feet, maybe 4,800, something like that. Now as we go through the night, the rain dissipates, and I'll go to 7 o'clock on Thursday morning. We're back to clear. And we will stay dry as we head through the day on Thursday, with rain just off to the north. That's Thursday evening. So how much rain are we talking about? Total precip accumulation. This says 0.27. Wow, that's a little higher than some of the other models had been saying. Some of the other models are down to hundredths of an inch of rain. Actually, it's higher than I looked at a little bit. The NAM is still saying only around a tenth of an inch of rain. But you can also see the north-south indication here that Modesto, hardly anything. Sonora, Twain Harte, hardly anything. But you go farther to the north, there's some better rain. Tracy, Newman, hardly any rain. So most areas, I think, that see some rain will see around a tenth of an inch. A little bit more, obviously, on the west slope, maybe a quarter of an inch. And then total snow accumulation. Again, you can see where it is and where it isn't. So on I-80, we may get 5 or 6 inches of snow, and maybe 3 or 4 on Echo Summit, something like that. So not a big rain or snow maker. All right, let's take a look at the big picture and see how things are going to take place after this little weather system goes by. So this is our 500 millibar chart. Let me make sure I'm back to the start, because sometimes I look at these things in advance. Yes, I'm at the start. So right to today, this is actually the 6Z run. We have this little ridge out ahead of the weather system out here. And let's go ahead a couple of frames. So here's a little weather system sliding by tonight and early tomorrow. But it reinforces cool air, but it doesn't dig that much. So we don't get as cold and we don't get as unstable as what we saw a couple of days ago. And then we just stay with this kind of zonal flow. And that means it doesn't warm up all that much as we head through Thursday and Friday. I'm going to scroll up here just to see where we are in terms of time. All right, we're up to Friday. So Friday, nice day, don't get me wrong, nice day, but temperatures will stay in the valley in the mid to upper 60s. Then as we head into the weekend, some modest ridging, but then the ridge really takes over Monday and Tuesday, and that is a warm pattern. So this is why perhaps your app is saying that it's going to warm up. And it does look as though this warmer weather will peak likely on Tuesday. And then beyond that, the ridge breaks down again. A deep blowout in here may introduce chances of rain down the road toward the end of next week. However, the models aren't showing too much of that. All right, let's start with the temperatures, and I'll show you the precip in a little bit. But it seems like everybody, like I said, where I was going yesterday, we're focusing on the fact that it's going to get warm next week. And I'll have a little perspective on that as well. All right, so let's take a look at our 5,000-foot temperatures. And this is this afternoon. And as I scroll over this at 5,000 feet, you can see the temperature is around, as I scroll to the north, it's in the mid-30s. As I go farther to the south, it gets into the 40s. So again, just look at this as a little, perspective. So this is then on Thursday. The temperatures are still only in the low 40s. On Friday afternoon, our 5,000-foot temperatures haven't warmed up that much. We're in the mid-40s. So that's why the surface temperatures down in the valley will stay in the mid-60s. If you're in the bright sunshine, it'll feel pretty good, and also doesn't look like there's any wind or anything like that. And then into the day on Saturday, we're now seeing the temperatures, maybe warming a degree or two, but with a slight offshore flow, we're likely to start seeing temperatures warm up. And you can see the wind barbs are now from the north. Although, again, I don't expect it to be very windy. But by Sunday, we start to see temperatures come up. So notice all these yellow colors. And so now the temperature has gone from the mid-40s at 5,000 feet to the mid-50s. Yeah, things are starting to warm up a little bit. So Sunday will be the warmer half of the weekend. And then the warmer weather continues to build as we head into the day on Monday. This is Monday afternoon. And now those temperatures up around the low 60s. So at 5,000 feet, we have seen the temperatures go from the low 40s to the low 60s. And depending on the wind direction, that could translate into temperatures in the mid 70s or upper 70s. And then on Tuesday, again, depending on what sort of wind we see, these 5,000-foot temperatures are around the low 60s, which could give us a temperature maybe as high as 80. But then by Wednesday afternoon, it starts to cool off a little bit. We're down into the 50s. And then Thursday of next week, you can see the cooler air coming in. And so by Thursday afternoon, next week, we are seeing temperatures back down around 50. Now, just a little perspective on that. I have to get out the handy dandy record book. So yeah, we haven't hit 80 degrees yet this year. Somebody asked me yesterday what the average date of our first 80 is. Now I don't have that. I always have the average first 90 and the average first 100. I don't have first 80. But when the average high first hits 80 for Sacramento is May 10th. But the first one is usually maybe a month or so before that. So, and for that, the record high for today on the 19th is 83. By Tuesday, the record high is 86. So we may see a temperature around 80 or so, but there's nothing record-setting about that. And it's just that we haven't seen that so far this year. But for further perspective, next Tuesday on the 26th, the record high for Sacramento is 90. And record highs throughout the month of April are all in the 90s. So now that we have that higher sun angle that I was showing you, it's easy to get temperatures in the 80s. Also, think about it this way. We have the equinox coming up. Again, I believe that's tomorrow. So next Tuesday, the sun angle is about the same as what we would see in mid-September. And in mid-September, we can still see temperatures around 103, 105. So, I mean, that has to do with the lag of seasons, but you can certainly see what the higher sun angle can do. And so seeing a temperature up around 80 at this time of year isn't anything that needs exclamation points. It's just we haven't seen it so far this year. It'll be a warm day, but there's nothing record-setting about hitting 80 degrees. All right, I do want to go back to the chances of rain, because even though we're talking about some warmer weather, eventually we're still talking about rain and snow. We're not done with that yet, even though we are going to go to spring. All right. I say it that way because the other thing that always drives me nuts is, let's say after we get the we go to astronomical spring here during the day tomorrow, and we get some snow in the Sierra. More than one writer has said, the calendar says spring, but it still looks like winter. Yeah, something like that. Drives me nuts. Anyway, as we go through the day Friday, you can see these systems going by to the north, which is why, farther to the south, we just don't see much warming. The GFS tries to spit out some mountain showers. I just don't think that there's really much of that going on. Then as the ridge builds in, there's no chance of any rain. And then I'll be back up to Sunday. Because some have been speculating it's going to be windy this weekend. No, there's just not much gradient there. All right, then we get into Monday, Tuesday. That's just clear and mild. Now, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, and then this is Friday. So right now, it doesn't look as though, next week, the second half of next week will cool off. It doesn't look as though there's anything in the way of rain. So for those of you that work outdoors, Thursday, Friday of this week look fine, and then all of next week looks dry. What about the following weekend? The models had been trying to drive something in here in the following weekend. Now we're up to Saturday night, Sunday of next weekend. And this model, that's the 6Z run. That doesn't like it. Neither did the 18Z run yesterday. But if we go back to the 0Z run from last night, this shows something a bit more vigorous. So right now, even the GFS is just kind of going back and forth on what we may see the following weekend. It looks like there'll be some rain, but how vigorous it may be remains to be seen. And then maybe something better around the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Yeah, but this is way out into fantasy land. This is 2 weeks out. So we'll see what happens with that. So again, even though we're about to, it's spring, we are not done with rain and Sierra snow just yet, and maybe even snow down to 4,000 feet or something like that from time to time. But in the meantime, today, nice, just still relatively cool, and we will be cool for the next couple of days. And yes, the weekend is also great for the air show and anything else going on outdoors. And Monday and Tuesday will be warm days. Maybe up around 80, especially by Tuesday for the first time this season. But after that, we'll see a transition to cooler temperatures for the second half of next week. But it may be a little while before we see anything in the way of good rain coming our way again. But it will happen. We'll get some more rain as we head through the early part of April. That's everything I've got for you this morning. And just a word of note, if you're waiting on this tomorrow morning, you're going to have to wait a while. I'm not going to be here in the home weather office tomorrow morning, so I'm going to take a day off. I cleared it with the CEO here at Mark Fine and Weather. Sometimes it's tough to get a day off, but I begged, I pleaded, they let me have tomorrow off. I'll be back Friday for a full update, first thing on Friday morning, and we'll look at the weekend and then the warmer weather for early next week. So make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.